Hey guys, John here. Welcome back to the Super Awesome Geek Show. We're in the toy condo, and today we're taking a look at another famous variant in toy collecting history. This time we've got Geordi La Forge from Star Trek Playmates. This is the removable visor versus the non-removable visor. Playmates was a company that got the license for Star Trek in 1992, and they made a whole host of figures going all the way up to 1999. There were figures for Star Trek The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, classic Star Trek, the movies, Generations. They just made a ton of different figures. If you can think of a figure, they probably made it. It was an incredible line with a lot of great action figures, really good detail, really cool play value, and lots of accessories. They often came with trading cards or pogs. This was a great line to collect and one that I highly recommend collecting to this day. The back of the packaging always had a cool tagline from the show, Star Trek The Next Generation, Space, the Final Frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, its continuing mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Star Trek 25 years, they were celebrating a 25th year anniversary when the time that these figures started coming out. Much like with Star Wars Kenner, where we call the very first card back a 12 back because of the 12 figures on the back of the packaging. For Star Trek The Next Generation, we have the 10 back. The 10 back was the very first card back you could get for Star Trek Next Generation, and it consisted of Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Counselor Deanna Troi, Lieutenant Commander Data, Lieutenant Worf, Commander William Riker, Lieutenant Commander Geordi La Forge, the Borg, Ferengi, a Romulan, and Gowron the Klingon. Star Trek figures were known for having numbers on the bottom of the feet. This lasted for quite a while, but I think it eventually went away with the line. They realized that collectors just stopped caring somewhere in the late 90s. But in the early 90s, when these things were first coming out, if you got one with double zeros or even lower, like this example here, 011184, so it is considered a kind of a low number. You're not below 10,000, you're not below 1,000, but you're really, I mean, in the lower end of the, you didn't get one that was in the hundreds of thousands, you know what I mean? Now my Jean-Luc Picard here, if we take a look at him real quick, we can see from flipping him upside down that his number is 00257. So he is the 2,557th figure made. So this is under 10,000. It's actually under 5,000. So this would have been a really highly sought after action figure in the 90s, in the early 90s. I had a Lieutenant Commander Data that was a 00. And it was somewhere like, I think it was 3,000 something. So again, it was under 5,000. And I sold that one back in the late 90s for almost $200. That's how much people were looking for 00 or even 000. If you had one that was in the hundreds, not in the thousands, like had 3 zeros and then say like 294, so it was like in the top 500, you were looking at over $500, maybe sometimes even close to 1,000. People were going crazy for low number versions of these action figures. It's kind of unfortunate because today the numbers, they don't mean as much as they did in the past. You can get them for anywhere from $20 to $40, even in the low 3 digits. I don't think people care today what number they got, but it was a big deal back in the early 90s. Like I said earlier, today we're going to be looking at Geordi La Forge. Geordi was a great character to get. His visor's really cool. He had a lot of great accessories. The card backs on these look amazing. I love all the colors and the shape of the card and everything. From the front, it was very difficult to tell which Geordi La Forge you had. So I'm going to, when we get a little bit further in the video, I'm going to point out all the differences so you can kind of figure out which one you've got. Geordi La Forge was a human born in African Confederation on Earth. His rank was Starfleet Lieutenant Commander, assigned vessel USS Enterprise NCC 1701D. His previous vessel was the USS Victory. He's in excellent physical condition, but he does have a birth disadvantage being blind. That's why Geordi has the visor. The visor helps him see. Profile: La Forge, Geordi, Lieutenant Commander of the USS Enterprise NCC 1701D, Engineering Specialist, formerly manned con station on the bridge, technically talented, innovative, quick-witted, carefree. Proficient in warp drive technology, number one choice for away team missions, works efficiently under pressure. Can see the entire range of the electromagnetic spectrum, allowing him vision beyond standard human sight. Again, that is due to the visor that he wears. La Forge's duties on the USS Enterprise include monitoring and maintaining impulse and warp drive power, troubleshooting engineering problems, provides first officer vital and timely information while on away team missions. He's able to quickly solve highly complex technical problems. He's got a distinguished service notation. Lieutenant Commander Geordi La Forge saved the planet Moab 4 from destruction by modifying the Enterprise's tractor beam, diverting a stellar fragment from destroying the planet. All further access is denied. Clearance for Starfleet level 10 only. I do remember that episode where they had the stellar fragment and they had to divert it. I've seen most of these episodes hundreds of times. I can't believe how many times I've seen Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine and Voyager in particular. Geordi came with a number of accessories, Starfleet gear, the Type 2 hand phaser. In stun mode, this thing can neutralize most known life forms. On higher settings, it can be destructive, to be used as defensive weapon only. The visor, La Forge's eyes to the world, the visual instruments and sensory organ replacement for VISOR, visual instrument sensory organ replacement, VISOR, allows La Forge to see in the entire range of the electromagnetic spectrum. We have dilithium crystals. These synthetically manufactured crystals are the heart of the warp drive system. A tricorder with holster for monitoring all known life forms and inert matter. Bioengineering tools used for diagnostic testing and repairs on the warp and impulse engines of the Enterprise. Away team portable computer gear keeps La Forge in communication with the starship's main computer. And he also came with a Starfleet action base that says La Forge on it. Stand him up or plug him into his base. La Forge is always ready for action. 1992, Paramount Pictures, all rights reserved. Now, the very first Geordi La Forge had a removable visor. And like I said, from the front, there's almost no way to tell. There are some subtle differences, which I'll get into in just a second. One notable difference on the front of the packaging, but the big difference is going to be on the back of the packaging, which we will get into in just a second here. But the removable visor was something they did right away, and it's only available in really low numbered ones. I think you have to have something that's below 15,000 or so in order to get one that has the removable visor. It was deemed a choking hazard. People were afraid that they were going to choke on this part if you took it off, and I don't know why. It's not any bigger than the hand phaser or the tricorder, or any smaller, I would say. So I mean, why would you? Well, you could choke on the tricorder just as easy as you could choke on the visor. So I don't know why they felt that that was suddenly a big problem. So they quickly changed it in the factory and made it so they were being glued. From then on, every single Geordi La Forge had his visor glued to his face. On the back of the card, you can see the main difference. There is a section where you see in the Starfleet gear where Geordi's visor in the image is off of his face. And then the corrected version where it was glued to his face you can see that the image shows the visor glued to his face. There's no, they took away that the image of the removable visor. So here we got it. So I put them side by side here so you can see it. The removable visor on the right, and then the corrected version on the left, where they started gluing it to his face so they no longer showed it as removable. One of the other differences in the back of the packaging that I've noticed is the removable visor one has a sticker that says "Product of China, package printed in Hong Kong, package in toy sculpture, copyright 1992, Playmates Toys." Where the version where his visor was glued, they had corrected that, and it's a product of Macau, package printed in Hong Kong, distributed by Playmates. So they kind of had a different. The whole format of the text on the back is different if you look at it from left to right. So, and then there's a sticker correcting something that they had done wrong in the early production run that was changed later on. You can also notice on the back of the packaging, the one with the removable visor had sort of a side angle image that's on the left, and the one where they corrected it, where it was a visor just glued to his head, is kind of the same image that they used for the in the equipment area. You know, it's a totally different image if you notice. And now if we go back to the front of the packaging, you'll see that they are pretty much identical, but there is one difference I'll show you here on the front. Even though both versions show the Starfleet gear written exactly the same, the text is exactly the same, and you'll see they have the exact same assortment number and stock number, and the ages 4 and up are identical. So even though they have these identical numbers and everything looks the same, at the very top of it, underneath where it says Lieutenant Commander Geordi La Forge, Chief Engineer of the Starship Enterprise, you will see that the one with the removable visor has bonus Starfleet Action Base written in white, and they changed it when he had the visor glued to his face, where it says bonus Starfleet Action Base is now in black. So I would say the two quickest ways to tell are, if you're looking at the front of your packaging, see if it has white text instead of the black text. And if you're looking at the back of the packaging, check to see that it has an actual image showing the visor off of Lieutenant Geordi La Forge's face. You will that way you'll know that you have. Those two indicators are the way to know if you have one with removable visor or not. I can remember hunting for this figure back in the day. I remember hearing about the removable visor, and I had to drive, I don't even know, we went to Syracuse, we went to New York City, we went to Albany, we went to Buffalo, all through. I mean, I lived in Rochester, New York, and we were going all over the state of New York looking for this figure. We went up into Canada, Niagara Falls area, St. Catharines, drove up to Toronto. I mean, we were going everywhere we could think of to try and find this figure, and it was just a nightmare. I remember it was so difficult to find him. And you would go to a Star Trek convention, and there were times you would see this figure $60, $70, $80, $100 with a removable visor. And it just got nuts. It got so out of control. And the lower the number, the higher the price. I mean, if you got one that was in the under 500 and it had the removable visor, whoa, it became untouchable, you know. But again, like a lot of things in the early 90s, the crazy situation is nowadays you can find a removable visor, Geordi La Forge, like this, with an unpunched card even, and in the 10,000s. This one's numbered 11,000 something, and 25. I think I saw one for $25 on eBay. So yeah, they're no longer hundreds, you know, getting into the $100 range. They're now $20, $25. It's just as common as a regular Geordi La Forge, it seems like. Or it's just that very few people care, because the regular Geordi La Forge might run you I mean, I've seen them as low as $5, but on average he runs $10 to $15 for on-carded Geordi La Forge here. You can get them in a lot, like a job lot, for as low as $5. But if someone knows they have the removable visor version, they're probably going to end up charging you $20 to $25 for it. But that's nowhere near the price it was in the early 90s. It was just unbelievable. It was crazy. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. I appreciate it. I don't know how much more I can say about this Geordi La Forge variant. It was a really cool variant to have, a cool variant to track down. I have a lot of fond memories driving all over the place looking for this one when we were younger. And it's just an awesome thing to have them both in the collection and to be able to compare these and take a look at them. Yeah, I hope you guys find these kind of videos interesting and informative. And hope you're looking forward to more of them. Let me know if there's any particular variants you want to see and want to go over or get some information on. I've got a bunch more coming down the pipe that I'd like to go over, and I also want to get into some of the variants of things we know about, like Star Wars and Kenner and them. But I'm afraid that the Kenner series will just go on forever because there's so many variants. Maybe I'll just hit the most popular ones. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below what you think about that, all right? All right, and yeah, okay. I guess we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. I'm John. I'm out of here. Appreciate you guys and all the support you give. Love you all. We'll see you later. Stay awesome out there, everybody.